All right, now we are live. What is up, good kind people? You're checking out the Thursday night edition of the RCWR show. Lee Sanders here, covering the latest in all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. What's going on, people? How y'all doing? How y'all holding up, man? Things getting a little bit better for you? I hope it is. Sincerely, I hope it is getting better for you guys. Weekend almost around the corner. I'm looking forward to it. Look, I was essentially bedridden for about 11 days, and I've only been back to work just a couple of days now, and I'm already exhausted. That's just how I'm personally feeling. A little bit aggravated as well. Aggravated, irritated, eradicated, whatever else you could find to rhyme with any of those words. That's just how I've been feeling. Honestly, since I've been back just a couple of days, my patience has been, I can't tell you. I cannot tell you enough. But the weekend's almost here. I am looking forward to it. Let me tell you something. The day particularly I had today at work, it made a brother want to just grab something to drink. I ain't talking about no goddamn water either. I'm talking about some good, strong, hard shit. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, we're streaming live on a couple of different outlets right now. We're streaming on Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. I can see where everybody is coming from. So if you pop in that chat, you're watching, definitely feel free to say hello. We got a good show planned for you guys tonight, man. We're going to go a little bit all over the place. I told you guys on Monday we were going to be doing a show I think I told you guys it was probably either going to be Wednesday or Thursday. I don't believe I said anything about Friday, right? I don't think I said anything about Friday. So I'm happy that we're doing this show for you guys here tonight. Loads of cool stuff we're going to be getting into. So kick back, relax. Going to be loads fun, man. But again, just kind of give you guys a little bit of a health update. Because I know I had the whole COVID scare. If you listen to Monday's episode, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you didn't listen to Monday's episode, I do suggest after you get done with this one, pick it on back, scoop that episode up. But I basically was talking about how I was that close to really dodging a bullet there and getting COVID and everything. I ended up, after my test came back negative and I was diagnosed, basically it was determined, okay, you got some type of a viral cold, maybe a flu that's going on. So you just need to kick back, rest up, and, you know, try to see if you can get that flushed out of your system, get plenty of nutrition, vitamins, rest up, whole 9 yards, and see how you are after a week. If you're not good after a week, then you don't need to be going back to work for at least 2 weeks. So this was my first week back to work since I was initially diagnosed and since I was pretty much bedridden. And little by little, as the days have progressed, I feel as though I've gotten a bit stronger. I know when things kicked off for me Tuesday, I felt I was at about 80%. Going into Wednesday, I felt maybe I was at about 85, maybe almost 90%. And as it stands right now, Thursday night going into Friday, I just kind of feel like the baseline right now, I just feel like I'm just staying right at about 90. I'll take it. I feel a lot better strength-wise than where I was before I went back to work. I felt very weak in the arms, legs, and all that. Now, scale of 1 to 10, 1, it's not a factor. 10, whoa, daddy, you're weak. I would say when I initially went back, I was at a 7, leaning towards an 8. I would say right now, I'm kind of feeling about the same. So, well, you know the old saying. I don't know how many of you guys have ever came down with either the flu or a really nasty viral cold, but normally it could take up to 3 weeks for it to be completely out of your system, your immune system to really get back to where it was before you had got hit with it and everything. So I've been trying to expedite it a little bit by taking some Centrum vitamins, a multivitamin, and because it's good for the immune system, one, and then the one that I got, it's got loads of energy. So I should show it to you guys next time I'm live on the air. I don't want to do it right now. I don't feel like getting up. But it's got loads of good shit that's in it. So I've pretty much been taking that and some other stuff. And yeah, it's been working out okay so far. But yeah, it can take up to about 3 weeks just for it all to completely get out of your system. So FYI for you guys. But for me, I'm just taking it one day at a time. I'm glad that I'm kind of getting back into the full swing of things because we got SummerSlam right around the corner. I've been so out of it. If it wasn't for the damn flu, whatever the fuck I had, we were supposed to set up some type of a really cool contest going into SummerSlam. I don't know if we have necessarily enough time to try to set something like that up, because normally when I do little cool contest prize giveaways, I like to at least have 2, maybe 3 weeks of promoting and getting a lot of attention put on it and everything. So I don't know. I'll have to talk with the missus to see if maybe I know I can do it. Everything is pretty much, as far as what I want to give away, we have it in stock. What I'm not sure is, okay, a week's notice, is that really enough time for it to really catch fire? So that's a little bit of the dilemma I'm having right now. But yeah, so yeah, hopefully your week has been off to a good start. Weekend is around the corner. It hasn't been good. Hey, at least you got the weekend, right? Whenever your next day off is, or maybe you're off work, I don't know how it is, but hey, appreciate you guys welcoming me into your ears as always. So I'm gonna bounce around a little bit here. I gotta tell you, AEW and NXT for this week, I personally have found both shows to be a little bit so-so. Just a little bit so-so. There was a couple of little highlights I had enjoyed, but overall, I would have to say that between the two shows, they honestly were just, I don't know anything about the ratings just yet. I don't want anybody to spoil the ratings, because my favorite part of doing these shows, particularly when I do them Thursday nights, is offering who I think won the ratings war and then seeing what the actual result is and everything. But just 2 cents from a distance, I mean, for me personally, I feel it should be a tie, because as far as the quality of the shows for this week, I honestly felt it was a tie. If I had to, if you were to twist my arm and you were to force me to pick one over the other, that's where it gets a little bit tricky for me, just a little bit. If you were to twist it, I would probably lean a little bit more towards AEW, just by a little bit, just by a hair. But for me, honestly, not twisting my arm, it really just felt like a tie between both shows. So AEW, let's go ahead, let's start with them first. And I'm not doing the full-blown recap because there's loads of other cool stuff that we can get into, but just going over the key points. AEW, their main attraction of the night was Orange Cassidy taking on Chris Jericho. And remember, there was a stipulation that was put to this match, a $7,000 obligation, where basically if Orange Cassidy lost to Jericho, he was gonna have to pony up $7,000 to Chris Jericho. This would basically cover Jericho's expenses for his nice jacket that Orange Cassidy destroyed from a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Pain, suffering, all that good shit, right? So, look, the match itself, I mean, I gotta be honest with you guys. After all, that's part of the show creed, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. You know that very well if you listen to the audio version of the show, and once it's mixed down and everything. That's what was always said at the beginning and at the end, usually. Definitely at the end. Just depends on what intro I decide I want to use. I gotta tell you something. I'm looking at this match between Jericho and Orange Cassidy. I love you guys tremendously. I love you hardcore AEW fans. I love all different types of wrestling fans. Very seldom will you find me in a position where I will say anything negative towards a particular wrestler, a particular match, a particular product, etc. So in this particular case, I gotta tell you, that match between Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho, I felt kind of sad for my man Jericho. I don't know if anybody else was kind of feeling that, but I legitimately felt kind of sad for Jericho. You know, not let's throw Jericho a pity party. I'm going to try to explain it. You got to bear with me because this isn't rehearsed. You know, when I go into these shows, they're not rehearsed. You know, I just know some bullet points in my head, but it's not rehearsed. I watched this as long as I've been watching Chris Jericho. Jericho, definitely one of my all-time favorites in the ring. One of, not the one of my favorites to watch in the ring. Because he always tells great stories. And I know Jericho is getting up there in age. I know that extremely well. Extremely well. But watching him in this match, this was probably really the first time, and I didn't go into this match, okay, I got my pen and paper, I'm ready to scrutinize this match, I'm ready to just like this match up, and yeah, I didn't go into it like that. I went into this just blank. My mind was just blank, and I'm just looking at this, and one of the things that jumped out to me off the break in looking at this match was, Jericho's not really doing anything on the offensive side of things. And for you guys that did not watch this match, maybe you got AEW on your DVR, just go back and really peep out what I'm now putting the spotlight on. Jericho was not, and before anybody says, well, you know, Jericho's getting up there in age, not for nothing, he's packing a little bit of extra weight, so before anybody says any of that, just look at how Jericho was operating in this match. And the person that was really telling the story, that was really carrying the match itself, was really Orange Cassidy. It really was. And I just couldn't help but wonder to myself, man, you know, with what Jericho is doing, I mean, come on. Not making excuses for the man, because at the end of the day, if he decides he wants to lace up a pair of boots and he wants to get into that squared circle to entertain fans, then all bets are off. And honestly, fans come to a certain expectation when they're watching a particular product, when they're watching a particular talent, etc. So when I'm looking at a guy like Chris Jericho on this night and facing Orange Cassidy, I just couldn't help but look and say, man, not making excuses, but has the Fozzy schedule caught up to him? All the different kind of books that he's writing left and right, is that maybe kind of taking its toll? He's hosting different shows left and right. Is that maybe taking its toll? Okay, he's doing the Shogun, whatever he's doing Saturday night, the webcast that he's doing Saturday night. I don't know if that's just strictly a YouTube thing or if he's got it multi-streaming on a lot of outlets, but past couple of Saturdays I've seen it on YouTube. He's got the Jericho podcast. If he's in a position where he can host something on VH1 or whatever, you know, he's loaning himself to that. You know, he's just all over the fucking place. All over the fucking place. I can't help but wonder, okay, you know, what's going on with my man here? Because when I look at what's going on with him in the ring, and in this case, I'm looking at this match with Orange Cassidy, I gotta tell you, as far as a compilation of Jericho's greatest moments, greatest matches, just highlights in general, this past Wednesday night was not a highlight for me. It wasn't. Now, I'm not shitting on the match whatsoever, but let's be for real. I think it's a no-brainer and it's no shit. If this was the Chris Jericho from even 5 years ago, it's safe to say we probably would have gotten a much more entertaining type of matchup. Give me 1 second here.
Give me 1 second here. Sometimes you get these little spam joints. Somebody just inboxed me trying to have me try some type of a new microphone for them. I'm sorry, I'm not interested. Yeah, unless it's Rode, give your man a call. I love Rode. I'm all Rode. If it ain't Rode, I ain't interested. But no, I think we all could be in agreement. If this was the Chris Jericho from as little as 5 years ago, this match, it probably would have been pretty damn good. The ending to that match as well, I felt was definitely very, very odd. It felt very theatrical, this match that I was watching. Also, it just felt very lackluster, just watching that match. I wish I could add even more colorfulness to my thoughts on that match, but I'm just watching it, and I mean, I'm excited for Orange Cassidy, don't get me wrong. I'm excited for Orange Cassidy because I got to follow up on what I had said from last week, which was, hey, for Orange Cassidy, this is a really cool moment. This is one of the biggest moments in his professional career. If it's not the one, it damn sure should be the one. You know, you got to have him go over. It was pretty much the point that I was making, because if not now, then when? When, if ever, would have been a great time for Orange Cassidy? So, for me, watching Orange Cassidy in this match, you know, he pretty much did what I was expecting that he was going to do in the ring. But Jericho, I was expecting a bit more. You know, and then Mike Chioda coming in there. Chioda, longtime WWE official. What they say about him, 33 years of officiating experience, and now here he is loaning his talents to AEW. I love the dynamic that was happening going into this matchup, where Jericho met up with Chioda and said, hey, I saved your job before, remember? Maybe this go round I can help you out again. I can come in for the rescue, but this go round you'll be working here in AEW. I love that whole little element to it, where Jericho is saying to Chioda, hey, I need you to call it right down the middle, wink, wink, wink. I love that whole dynamic, because at least from that standpoint also, you got, okay, so which way is Chioda going to go here? Is Chioda going to go on the side of Jericho? Or, and as we found out, Chioda wasn't having it. He was literally calling it right down the middle and everything. But the main event match for me, it was okay, but not quite what I was expecting from Jericho. I don't know, man. I really shouldn't be saying too much. Maybe I shouldn't be a Debbie Downer when it comes to this particular matchup. I don't know. Maybe I need to be saying, hey, you know, the guy's getting up there in age. He's in his early 50s. Cut the guy some fucking slack. Look, I think for Jericho being in his early 50s, don't get me wrong. I know he's picked up some weight. I know he's definitely pudgy now. I think he looks great at the age that he is. And let me explain why. And I think folks that are past the age of 25 will definitely agree with me on this, which is, you know, the older you get, it's much harder to maintain the weight, the build, you know, that you had decades prior. You got to work 2 times, 3 times, 4 times as hard to stay in the type of shape that you were in your 20s, early 30s as you're going into your 40s and up. It's much hard, especially for males, when as far as the whole testosterone, sadly, the older you get as a man, the lower your testosterone level goes. And that's why you see all those commercials running around with the supplements and all that other shit. You got some people trying to push whatever, HG, whatever. They don't particularly care about that shit. But when I look at a guy like Jericho, I say, hey, yeah, he might be a bit pudgy. I'm not denying that. But he looks pretty damn good for a guy in his early 50s compared to some people I see. There's some people you see and you go, wait, that person's how old? Get the fuck out of here. That person's really? They're that age? But I mean, if you ask me, just straight up, 2 cents from a distance, for me, it just really comes off. On the one side, I love the fact that Jericho is doing his part and trying to pay it forward, and he's trying to help excel talents on the roster, certain talents. I love that. I fucking love that. I eat that shit up. On the flip side to it, I can't help but look at Jericho and say, man, for what you're doing in the ring here, I mean, what do you think, guys? We're probably going to see Jericho in the ring for maybe about 4 more years, maybe 5 at most. There's no way we could still be seeing this guy around age 58, 59, still running around. No. So you would like to have the impression that Jericho is probably going to be doing this another 4, maybe 5 years, whatever the length is of that AEW contract, which I believe is about that same length. And then maybe he's going to call it a day. No doubt, whenever he does decide, okay, I'm done with AEW, I'm just going to be a freelance guy. Oh, without a doubt, he's going in the WWE Hall of Fame. That definitely is going to happen. But I can't help but ask a guy like Jericho, hey, man, at the age that you're at now, and realizing that you're now in the twilight of your career, isn't there that little part of you that, rather than quantity, cares more about quality when it comes to your matches? I just can't help but wonder and ask that question if I were to ask Chris Jericho that question. Because what I've been seeing with him thus far, it's just, Yeah, and some of the stuff that he's been doing as of late, I know he's been going a bit more the comical route, but some of it hasn't really been that funny. The Demo God thing, that's catchy as fuck. Hey, a little bit of the bubbly, yeah, you definitely got me on that. I don't know, man, it just seems like ever since the shift from the Jericho that we had got that was the first AEW champion, I don't know, it just feels, kind of hit and miss with the Jericho that we've been seeing as of late. That's just me, to each his own, but that's just me. Sorry if I'm sounding a little bit critical right now, but that's just my honest takeaway. That's why you come and check me out, right? You try to check me out because I'm going to keep it honest and insightful for you guys. Let's talk about some more action that came about from AEW Dynamite. Let's see here. Just looking at the rest of the card here. I gotta give Sheeta mad props. Her English is coming along very well. Very well. I love seeing her talking with Tony Schiavone. She kept it short and sweet, but her English is coming along. I gotta say, I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed with her. Still has the accent, but there's a nice little cuteness about her as she's speaking the English language. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I like it. She's coming along. She pretty much had a squash match victory over Heather Monroe. It was alright. Monroe did pretty good. Let's see, what else here? Looking at the rest of the matches here. That match was actually pretty good. The match I'm talking about that was actually pretty good. I'm talking about the AEW Tag Team Championship match as Jurassic Express took on Kenny Omega and Adam Page. Omega and Page retaining. Actually was pretty damn good. Loved watching all 4 of those guys lock it up in there. V-Trigger by Kenny Omega pretty much going in for the cover, picking up the 1, 2, 3. A lot of good energy was in that matchup, personally. That's my takeaway. Lot of good energy was in it. And the best part that I liked about that match was the fact that they switched gears. They didn't just stay in one gear and okay, that's it. You know, they built it up. I like how they built it up. It was pretty good the way that they did it. It was good quality stuff from all four guys, and you guys know me if you've been checking out the show for a long time. I continue to sing nothing but heaps of praises for Jungle Boy, and I hope that there are some big things on the horizon for that young man. I still would love to see Jungle Boy and MJF in a much longer program. Speaking of MJF, good segue. MJF, pretty good segment that he had this week, putting down Moxley once again as the champion. I tell you, just give me 20 minutes of MJF. I'm good. I am fucking good. I've been singing the praises of fucking MJF since he was still in MLW. And it just puts a big old smile on my face, personally, to see that now the powers that be in AEW, they're now saying, okay, look, we've got this phenomenal talent in MJF. The guy can fucking evoke whatever emotions needs to be evoked from the fans just by putting a microphone in his hands and let him do his thing. He's fucking golden. He is fucking golden on that microphone right now. And I gotta tell you, once again, I really, really hope, I gotta double down. I got to double down on this one, which is the point I was making a couple of weeks ago about MJF becoming the AEW World Champion. It needs to happen. Now, I know we got some people, no, it needs to be Moxley. Nah, it needs to be MJF. It needs to be MJF. And let me explain to you the reason why. This guy is so fucking over. This guy is so white fucking hot. Anybody that he works with, boom, shit gets interesting. Shit gets interesting real quick when you involve a guy like MJF. Moxley as the champion, it's just, I gotta tell you, it's like drywall. It's not doing it anymore. It's just not doing it anymore. I mean, for me personally, and I'm most curious to see where my thinking was at the pay-per-view where Moxley initially became the AEW champion. I'm most curious where my head was at that point, but I understood why Moxley got the AEW championship, but I always felt that Jericho should have held that title longer. I always felt that way. And I'm pretty sure if you go back to the shows, months prior, at least that AEW pay-per-view where Moxley won, I'm pretty sure you'll most likely find me saying it should have stayed with Jericho. I get why it went to Moxley. I get it. Y'all should get it as well. We don't need to spend a couple of minutes on why. But I think the honeymoon period with Moxley as the champion, it's over. It's over now. We need a new drug now. One that won't make us sick. And my biggest fear right now is that the longer Moxley continues to hang on to that AEW championship, the longer that he continues to go into whatever opponent is facing him for that title, and he pretty much conquers them, and he's still the World Heavyweight Champion, the longer and the more that continues to play out, I think ultimately there's going to be great mutiny among AEW fans. And it's going to be sadly a bad situation where, and see, that's the most interesting thing about what's happening right now since we're in this pandemic, and that's the fact that there's no fans in attendance. So sadly, by there being no fans in attendance, there's no way to really gauge the fans right now on, well, what do they think about Moxley having the championship for as long as he's had it this far, going over this opponent and this opponent and this opponent? You don't have that right now. And do you really operate and trust, most importantly, what is being said on social media? Do you really go with that? Because anybody can spend X amount of money and, say this about me online, or go to some company and do some bogus fucking whoopee-doo fucking shit. Anybody can fucking do that. So you can't help but wonder, no, really, what's the true gauge on how fans are feeling overall with Moxley as the champion? I think fans that's been paying attention to the AEW product would definitely say, okay, well, in terms of Moxley facing Brody Lee for the title and the title staying with Moxley, yeah, that was the right move. Should have stayed just like that. I'm sure some would question Moxley retaining over Brian Cage. I'm sure some would definitely question that. But they gotta be smart right here. AEW, the higher bookers, Tony Khan and them, they gotta be smart with this. You got something that is, I won't say once in a millennium. I won't say anything like that. But you got something definitely special with MJF. I haven't seen anything that special with a guy like MJF, not since EC3. Because just when you, and I mentioned EC3, for those of you that kind of have an eyebrow raised, if you really stop and think about it, you think about when EC3 first came to TNA/Impact Wrestling. He was on just a fucking roller coaster. Unstoppable fucking roller coaster. And man, I'm thinking, okay, there's no way Impact Wrestling could fuck this up. Boy, eventually they did fuck it up. And they fucked it up for all the wrong reasons. They were tripping more over trying to create buzz, going into another network and all this other shit, but they messed up with EC3. And I'm reminded so much of EC3, those early years in Impact and all that good run in Impact, at least that first half for EC3. I'm reminded of that first good half when I look at a guy like MJF. So, not to mention the diversity you can have with MJF as a champion. You could definitely do a return feud with Jungle Boy. You can have MJF lock it up with Darby Allin. You can have him eventually lock up with Cody. You know sooner or later Cody is going to fucking get that joint. You know he is. I personally wouldn't mind seeing, I don't know where he's been too, by the way, because I haven't seen him on AEW programming in a couple of weeks. We've seen Kazarian. We've seen Scorpio Sky, who I think would be good opponents to face MJF. But where's my man Christopher Daniels? I have not seen Christopher Daniels in a good minute. But he's another one that could very easily slide in there, work some really good programs with MJF. Hangman Page, Kenny Omega. Hell, you could even put one of the Bucks in there going after the title. So, I mean, there's a lot of great diversity that you could do with MJF as champion. And you can't go wrong. You just cannot go wrong. I mean, there's only but so many more routes you're going to be able to go with Moxley. And, my biggest fear, even if you decide, okay, you know what? And it's so weird what's become of Moxley, because originally, and I think where AEW kind of went wrong with Moxley, this standpoint, when Moxley first came into AEW, he came off as this rebel without a cause. That's the type of attitude that he had. He came in there basically, fuck the system, fuck the rules, and he pretty much was a rebel playing to his own beat. And somewhere along the way, that got lost in translation. Somewhere along the way, that just got abandoned. And now we just have Dean Ambrose. Except it's AEW Dean Ambrose. That's the most honest way I can fucking put it out there. I think you guys would definitely agree. So, for me, if you ask me, is it too late for AEW to try to tweak Moxley? I think so. I think at this point you really need to do something fresh. Taking the title off of him. Hell, having him be off TV for just a little bit. I'm not saying you got to have him off TV for a couple of months. Have him off TV for about 3 weeks or whatever. Hell, you can even have him off TV for about a month. But I think it would do some good to just pump the brakes with him a little bit. Go back to the drawing board. Do a couple of tweaks here and there. I would like to see the Moxley that was a rebellion when he first showed up in AEW. I want to see that Moxley return as opposed to what we got running around currently. That's just me. To each its own, but that's just me. Let's see, what else? Seeing what else they had there. By the way, I was just putting him over, giving him praise there for being somebody that could also take on MJF if he were to get the world title there. I got to give it up to Scorpio Sky taking on Cody for the TNT Championship. That was a highly entertaining matchup for me. Good change of pace. I liked it. Probably the one thing that kind of surprised me a little bit about this match, maybe it ran the same length as the other TNT Championship matches, but it just felt a tad bit short, and I was a little bit dumbfounded by that. My notes, I got the match being just a tiny bit past 10 minutes. Just a bit past 10 minutes. So for me, I'm going, wow, wait a minute. Why do you not have these guys going at it for about 15 to, maybe 17 minutes? These guys, they can hang with one another like that. I wanted more. That's honestly it. I wanted to see these guys wrestle each other a lot more. And any y'all notice that watch Dynamite? Did y'all notice how Lawler and them? I said Lawler. Wow, I got my damn commentators mixed up. Sorry. Did you notice how Jim Ross and them, how they were talking about Scorpio Sky? He was the first ever, AEW Black Tag Team Champions. You notice how they were doing that, and they were like, hey, he might be the first AEW Black World Champion. I like that they were kind of putting that nice little spin out there and all that. Why not? Hell yeah, Scorpio Sky as an AEW World Champion. I buy that for $1. I'm down with that shit. But no, these two guys and what they had did for their TNT Championship match, I did enjoy that. It was pretty good. Seeing Scorpio kick out of one Crossroads, I thought that was awesome. I thought, for me at least, I don't know how it was for you, but for me at least, it showed toughness. It showed that, the Scorpio Sky dude, he's got fucking durability. He is not just some fucking chump that you're going to be able to put away in like 3 minutes with your fucking finisher. No, you're going to have to do a lot more than that. Understand something. When Cody Rhodes hits that Crossroads, that is essentially it. So very rare do you have somebody kick out of that Crossroads. And it was awesome seeing Scorpio Sky being one of those people to kick out of it and everything. Of course, he didn't last that much longer because you had a little bit more back and forth that was going on. But ultimately, Scorpio Sky, no way he was going to kick out of a second fucking Crossroads. 1, 2, 3, Cody picking up pay dirt that way. By the way, we saw a newly designed TNT Championship. Looks fucking pretty. I like how they tweaked it a little bit. You guys got to go online and check it out. You'll notice it when it's compared to last that we had saw of the championship. Good tweaking. Good tweaking that they did. But yeah, nice, good, slow build there. I'm still picking up the vibes of a heel Cody, though. That's the thing. I'm still picking it up. What the fuck was up with the entire entourage coming out there with him and everything? For me, that just seemed kind of... okay, did you need this for yourself, dude? Did you need to suck your own dick here? That's why you got all these people out to be your hype machine. You had all of them out to, boost you up or whatever. I'm saying in storyline. I'm not saying in reality. I'm just saying in storyline there. But he continued to even show heel-like tendencies in this matchup. So I can't help but wonder who exactly is going to take that title off of Cody. Because let me tell you something. This is my bold prediction. The individual that takes that TNT championship off of Cody is going to push Cody to the brink, and he will go full-blown heel in such fashion. I got him beating the holy hell out of the person that defeats him for that TNT championship. And at that point, him and Arn Anderson, no pun intended, they really are going to be at a crossroads. Because you see how Arn Anderson has been operating these past several weeks when he's been seeing Cody do things that he considers, hey, that's not professional. That's kind of dickish. That's not the most honorable thing to do. What's going on with you, man? So if you ask me my pick, and I know that Cody is now kind of intertwined there with Brody Lee and everything. Brody ain't getting that. Forget that. Brody ain't getting that. If you ask me who I would personally like to see, because I want to see the young man get propelled to the next level, I want to see him elevated. And it would really, really do him good, I personally feel. Especially if he were to be locked in a feud with Cody for a little bit, and the payoff would be him getting the best of Cody each of those times. I personally would like to see Jungle Boy pull in the upset and become the new TNT champion. That's just me. Looking at the rest of the rosters, just looking at the rest of the males that's on the roster. See, I need to see Luchasaurus and Cody head to head, nose to nose, cause I'm trying to picture them right now, and I've got Luchasaurus being more massive. I got him being more wider and all that than Cody. That would be my dark horse. But my number one go-to as far as, okay, no, put it on him. Because, I mean, look, everybody loves Jungle Boy. Think about it. Everybody fucking loves Jungle Boy. He hits all the age fucking demographics. He is the ultimate fucking baby face because of who his dad was. Right? So, I mean, you got a nice built-in story right there in itself. And man, you talk about having the ultimate douchebag. Just picture it for a minute. Final moments. Nice series of some sweet ass counters that's going on between Jungle Boy and fucking Cody. Cody's looking for the crossroads. Jungle Boy is able to counter it a couple of times. Then you go into a roll-up schoolboy pin and keep alternating or whatever. But then finally, Jungle Boy gets the one up. He gets the ultimate upper hand. 1, 2, 3. Boom. He's the new TNT champion. Confetti's dropping all down from the fucking ceilings above. And he's celebrating and everything. Now, before you go, well, what's going on with Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt? They aren't out there. They aren't out there because going into this respected match, Jungle Boy said he ain't want for there to be no controversy. He really wanted to make sure he was able to do this on his own and all this other shit. And right, so he pretty much gave them the night off. Told them go hang out. You know, he'll meet them at the bar and they can go celebrate afterwards. Wait for him at the hotel, right? So that's how you explain those guys not being there. So you got the confetti and all that just dropping all down and everything, and fucking Cody is just standing there, you know, and he's just clapping or whatever. Raises fucking Jungle Boy's arm up in the air and then just proceeds to clothesline the shit out of him. Come on, man. It's right there for the fucking taking. Right there for the fucking taking. No, I did not think passionately long and hard about that. It just instantly came right out as we're live on the air. And that's typically how the show works, folks. Whatever comes to my mind. That's how it's always been. But TNT Championship match, Scorpio Sky, Cody Rhodes, probably one of my favorite matches of the night, although I wish it would have lasted a bit longer. The opening tag team match, is all I have to say. Young Bucks taking on the Dark Orders, Evil Uno, and Stu, Don't Call Me Dick Grayson. Yeah, you know. It was all right. You see, here's my problem with this match in a nutshell. I've seen this match dozens of times already. You know, we've already seen this to some degree play out on Dynamite. So, you know, it's kind of like if I were to use a food analogy. I know you guys love it when I use a food analogy. But it's the old what's for dinner? Meatloaf, mashed potatoes, gravy, peas. All right. Awesome. Next day. What's for dinner? Leftovers. Oh. Okay. Third day. Hey, what's for dinner? Take a guess. Oh, those same leftovers. Yeah. So, no matter how you want to come at me, you know, it's just, yeah, I've seen this dozens of times already. So it's kind of hard for me to be, you know, it wasn't a bad match. It was an okay match. I would say it was a bit of an average match, but nothing that really knocked me off my feet when it was all said and done. So yeah. By the way, I can't believe I almost forgot MJF there. I went on that long rant about MJF. Yeah, but he was out there talking his shit once again, putting down Moxley, showing his latest polling results, what the folks are saying about MJF versus Moxley as a champion or whatever. And Moxley's music hits. He pretty much jumped fucking MJF from behind after MJF had the impression, oh, he's gonna come from somewhere in the fan section there. Hey, block these sections off, and MJF miscalculated and he got attacked from behind by Moxley. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to be going on too with regards to AEW, as they will be coming on a Saturday. I'll give you guys a skinny on that in just a hot second there. Matt Hardy, we saw him briefly. Matt Hardy has Sammy Guevara on his mind. All he can do is see red. He's still a bit, what's the right word? Swollen. I think that's really one word you can use. Or dazed and confused. Well, that's a couple of words right there. But you get the point that I'm making. He's still pretty much teed off about what went down with Sammy Guevara from last go round. By the way, because I didn't have the opportunity to comment about that, quite a silly little move that went down right there. I don't care how you have the chair, what angle you're throwing the chair, to be just throwing the chair and then be throwing the chair at such a high speed and to be throwing the chair in such close proximity of the other person. Accidents happen, but Jesus Christ, man, that shit right there, that was brutal. That was fucking brutal, man. I mean, Matt Hardy was bleeding like a fucking stuffed pig right there, man. I didn't like that. I did not like that. I legitimately was concerned for my boy Matt. I was wondering if he had a concussion from that. I mean, my black ass got a concussion literally just from looking at that spot right there. But yeah, he was fixing to try to get his hands on Sammy Guevara. He thought he did. Turns out, person he was beating the crap out of, it was a referee. So he's pretty much, I think he was ejected from the night. We never did really follow up on him. So kind of interesting right there. Other than that, just looking at the rest of the card here. FTR, I almost forgot about that. FTR was out with the Bucks, the Rock and Roll Express, Tully, and Arn for the whole tag team appreciation night and everything. And something weird had went down. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it's kind of coming back to me now. I remember Shawn Spears had came out, and Arn Anderson had sensed that there was about to be some type of massive beatdown brawl, so he pretty much ejected himself from it. And then sure enough, there was a brawl that had went down. I'm trying to think. Let me look at my notes here. I'm trying to think who all had fucking brawled out with each other here. It feels like maybe Dark Order had came out, members of the Dark Order, but I don't remember that. The one thing I do remember, because I was a little bit distracted, but the one thing I do remember was FTR had attacked the hell out of fucking Rock and Roll Express. Yeah, I do remember that. They took one of them and did a fucking pile driver. That shit was badass. And then FTR hugged the shit out of each other. And once the Young Bucks had realized what the hell happened, FTR was already out of the ring. Young Bucks, they came in there and they were, checking up on the Rock and Roll Express. It was awesome. It was a nice little spot that they had did there. Other than that, that was pretty much AEW. Really a lackluster episode. And I wish I could say I was being overcritical of this episode, but you guys got to remember something. I was sick all of last week, so I didn't get a chance to talk about any of the shows from last week, right down to the point I did not watch any of the shows from last week. So I really went into this fresh set of eyes, clean slate as far as I was concerned, and this really wasn't that solid of an episode. I mean, scale of 1 to 10 felt like a 6.5 out of 10. That's what it had felt like, honestly. I'm hoping that with what's going to be going on next weekend, because there's a lot of shit that's going to be going on with AEW. So AEW, they're not going to be coming on this coming Wednesday. I repeat, they're not going to be coming on this coming Wednesday, which would be August the 19th. No, that ain't happening. Instead, they're going to be coming on Saturday, August 22nd. They're either going to come on at 6 p.m. Eastern, or as soon as whatever NBA playoff game, is on, as soon as that goes off, that's when AEW Dynamite will come on. And the way they got that set up, they named a whole bunch of matches for that too. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull up the matches here. And sadly, when I typed in AEW, some ratings had popped up. I don't think I know who won. But let me see one thing here. Let's see. I'm going to say AEW August 22nd, and I should be able to... Here we go. Yeah, I got the preview for you guys here. All right, so here's what's going to be going on with Dynamite for August 22nd. We're going to see Cody taking on Brody Lee for the TNT Championship. FTR's Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood will be taking on Private Party's Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. Looks like they're all teaming up. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, they're teaming up to take on Alex Reynolds, John Silver, and Allen Five Angels. We're also going to get the finals of the AEW Diddley Draw Women's Tag Tournament. Darby Allin is going to be in action as well. Also, Pentagon Jr., Phoenix, The Butcher, The Blade versus Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, Dustin Rhodes, and QT Marshall in an 8-man tag match. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty good episode. Now, let me tell you something. If the people at TNT are smart, here's something I really hope, and I know that some of the wrestlers, they make their rounds. You all have pointed out sometimes it's kind of eerie. I will say something literally word for word, playbook by playbook, and the next thing you know, it pans out on TV that way. And I like when you guys bring it to my attention. It lets me know you're paying attention. I hope that the wrestlers that make their rounds checking out podcasts, I hope that the people at AEW will hear this, and they will get in contact with their guys over with TNT upper management. Now is the time that you want to be striking while the iron is hot. And what I mean by that, AEW/TNT, you got the NBA playoffs. Big bulk of those games is going to be on TNT. That's a lot of eyes that's going to be watching. If I remember right, and somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, I remember Chris Jericho one time, as far as AEW talent going on inside the NBA, having anything to do with NBA Night, it was Chris Jericho. Since then, there has been nothing. So, under the circumstances with AEW moving to Saturday for that time, I think it makes all the sense in the world to do a full court press, and TNT works with Tony Khan and works with the people with inside the NBA on TNT, see if they can get a couple of, honestly, the way I would do it, I think it would personally be badass. Get some AEW talents. You can get Cody. You can get Jericho. Once again, I would love to see how MJF would be. I think he would be pretty interesting. But you gotta go for some popular names. Would definitely help if they know their basketball. And maybe if it's a case where 3 nights for that schedule coming up next week, 3 of those nights, you can have AEW talent stop by. I think that would be pretty fucking cool. All to hype up the Saturday show. You can't just, and that was the one thing that I was just kind of flabbergasted when I was watching AEW this week. I'm watching all these shows on the DVR late Wednesday night going into Thursday morning, and there was just so much information that AEW was trying to cram in there for that Saturday show. I just couldn't help but go, God damn, that's a lot of information that you expect for the viewers to try and remember. And you know, because on the one hand, they hit you up with, I don't know if it was Monday or Tuesday, but something about the AEW Women's Tournament. And then they said something Tuesday. Maybe that was AEW Dark, I'm not sure. Then they go in the Saturday card and they're going over this long list of what all you're going to get. It's like, man, that's a lot to process here. So at such a short notice, if you really stop and think about it, some people could say, well, we kind of got like essentially a week and a couple of days notice about AEW. I honestly, look, when it comes to TNT and it comes to their NBA playoff picture and all that other stuff, they have a general idea of when the playoffs is going to begin. So, boys and girls, my point, man, they knew about this shit 2 weeks out. So, if anything, the promoting for Dynamite being on Saturday, August 22nd, the promoting for it, I'll have to rely on you guys. Because, again, I didn't watch last week. Hopefully, they did begin promoting as of last week. Because if they did not begin promoting the August 22nd date as of last week, talk about doing things in haste. You know, who dropped the ball on that one? I'm hoping, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. And I'm going to assume that they began promoting this as early as last week. But that was just a lot to kind of process, I personally felt. If there was ever a time to remind people to stay connected through social media and all that for, you know, any changes, blah this, blah that, definitely should have been pumping it out during that broadcast. But no, if they do it just like that, I think it would help. You want to try to get as many eyes as possible on your product, because this is a great opportunity where, hey, you're capitalizing not just on the NBA playoffs, you're also capitalizing on, I don't think Inside the NBA on TNT is going to be coming on after the game is over. I don't believe so. I'll let you guys know. I'll have an idea by next show if that's even going to be happening. But regardless, one, you're capitalizing on the NBA playoffs. Two, you're capitalizing potentially on a new audience that hasn't checked out your product yet. So you want to have everybody, all hands on deck, all your talent, Tony Khan, the people in TNT, their PR department. You want to have everybody involved to be working to make this go off without a hitch. And let me say something real quick, because I didn't have an opportunity to mention this. The stuff with Brandy Rhodes, the whole heels thing, I didn't get a chance to comment on that. I know by now you guys have probably got a bit burned out hearing about that. So I'll try not to make it long-winded. But for those of you that maybe are not even aware, maybe you are aware, you just want my 2 cents from a distance on the whole thing. So AEW, they got this new thing going on, a membership. It's called AEW Heels. Ties into Brandy Rhodes, obviously, because she's the chief branding officer. She's the social media strategist and all that. So, you know, when you are reading the memo for this, the flyer, whatever you want to call it, when you're reading it, you're going, well, this sounds kind of interesting, but I need a little bit more information. So they're trying to provide a atmosphere. They're trying to provide a group where, you know, you can feel welcome, you can feel safe, and, you know, like-minded people and all this other stuff. And you're like, okay, you know, that sounds pretty cool. You get in on exclusive prizes and contests, and you see the flyer, it's very vague. But my 2 cents from a distance, when I initially came across this, I'm thinking, oh, so maybe they're trying to do a Avon or Mary Kay type of thing. Now, if you don't know anything about Avon, Mary Kay, I can't really speak for Avon, so I'll speak more for Mary Kay, because aside from what my girl does, you know, where her regular 9 to 5, working as a treatment coordinator at a dentist's office and everything, she also on the side, you know, does Mary Kay and all that. And she's got about, you know, anything about Mary Kay, she's got at least about 14 people that works up under her. So, you know, if she can have them all be active for X amount of time, she can pretty soon go into that position where her pink Cadillac is going to be made for her and everything. So, and yeah, this brother ain't got no problem riding shotgun with her in her pink Cadillac. Our theme song is going to be that goddamn Aretha Franklin pink Cadillac song. But anyway, I was thinking maybe it was going to kind of go a Mary Kay type of route, where in Mary Kay, they have these workshops where, you can come in and you can learn more basically about how to be a better person, be a better salesperson. And these type of workshops, they're normally free or whatever. And there's also, cool activities that you can do. They always throw events where you can bring your family, kids are welcome. So I'm kind of thinking maybe they were going to do something along those lines, because it seemed that what they were aiming for was the women, right down to when you look at the logo, the AEW heels, you see the whole lipstick thing, and you're like, oh, okay, so this is something for women. Okay, cool, it's something for women. Okay, got it, something for the women. All right, cool. But then that's where you start to ride a little bit of a slippery slope. And I put a nice pretty little ribbon around this, not to make it too long-winded. I know you guys appreciate what I'm saying so far, but I don't want to be too long-winded with this. This is where people start to feel a bit rattled, because you've got, okay, so this group is for women, and at first it's, yeah, and so you're kind of going, okay, so what about those that are in the LGBTQ community? What, they cannot join because, obviously lesbians can, well, but what about those that are cross-dressers or transgendered, or or what about gay men? So what, Sunny Kiss can't be in AEW Hills? Is that what you're saying? People like Sunny Kiss? Like what the fuck? So that's a slippery slope right there, because I've always been a firm believer in, once you start segregating like that, you're gonna ruffle some feathers. But that was just the tipping on the iceberg. What was the true tipping point? The price tag. $49. Paid as yearly. Alright, so you get this vague info, you're not really sure what you're going in there for and everything. And yeah, by the way, we want $49. Now, true fucking story. And when me and the missus sit down to do an episode of Wrestling with the Topics, I believe we're going to be doing it this weekend, I will put her on the spot and she'll go on record for you guys. But I pitched it to her. I said, hey, would you be willing to participate in this AEW Heels thing? And she's like, who? What? And I told her what it was about. And she said, no. And I got her to go on record. I said, and for the record, what's your beef? And she goes, the information is very, very vague. And she said, I also don't like the fact that, they're asking for that money, even though it's for the whole year. It's very vague. It doesn't really seem like you're really getting your true values worth. If this is all about creating some type of a group, why not do something on Facebook? Why not do something on Discord? Why not do something on insert here? And I just looked at her, I said, pretty damn good point. Something else that she had mentioned, and again, this comes from a female wrestling fan. She said, I understand that, there's not really that many of us females that's into the wrestling like that. She's like, but I gotta be honest with you. She's like, I could tell you more about the women in WWE, the women in WOW, Women of Wrestling, as opposed to who all is in AEW. Because I really don't know who all is what in AEW. I'm like, okay. She's like, so yeah, so them asking for money, especially $49, and it's, we're not for nothing, we're still dealing with a pandemic. It's like, it's not really smart. So, and again, look, I'm not taking a shot at Brandy here, but I mean, this should have been thought out 10 times better. It should have been thought out 10 times better. this should have been the kinks and all that. It should have been ironed out amongst Cody, the Bucks, and everybody else. You know, there was ever a time. Look, you get better bang for your buck dealing with your favorite wrestler that has a Patreon page and they got their tiers and they tell you what it's all for. Yeah, I just couldn't help but seeing how this was set up initially. I couldn't help but say, damn, way to not feel inspired by Kickstarters, Indiegogos, GoFundMes. You know, at least take a cue from these and try to adapt and really do a better job in diversifying what your group is about, and you know, what is that true value and incentive for people to join. Because at the end of the day, whether we want to admit it or not, we are looking for a good deal on something. Even right down to the point, you can be at your local grocery store and somebody says to you, would you like to donate money to Children's Center for Cancer Research? You know, and sadly, most people are going to say no. But if you hit them up with a, hey, you know, if you donate $5, you'll get a $5 coupon. So essentially, you're kind of not really paying for anything because it kind of counters itself. People want to feel as though they're getting something for their hard-earned dollars that they're earning for a living. They want to feel like they're making some type of a good investment. They want to feel like they're getting something back. So, yeah. Now, Brandy's saying that she deleted her, at least this is what Cody is saying. Brandy deleted her Twitter accounts or social media accounts because she was called the N-word. Look, I'm not going to say they're lying. I damn sure I'm not going to say Brandy's lying. Unlike some people who are totally unkind to Brandy, I give constructive criticism where constructive criticism needs to be given. I have critiqued her wrestling. Was never harsh as some people were. If anything, I said, you know, she needs to learn a little bit more. Get Cody, get so-and-so, you know, hook her up and everything. And you all remember the last time she had wrestled, I said she's coming along, but she still has more work to do and everything. I'm not calling her a liar, because at the end of the day, I damn sure don't have access to her social media account, so I can't say what she had saw and didn't see and all of that shit. But what I will say, what I would say to Brandy and to anybody else that has been in that position where you're minding your own business on social media and you come across some hateful content or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Look, man, you got to have thick skin. It comes with the territory. It comes with the territory. It doesn't make it right. Damn sure don't make it wrong. But you got to have thick skin when it comes to being on social media. The minute that you decide you want to be a vlogger, you want to be a blogger, you want to be a podcaster, you want to be a beat writer, you want to be an athlete, you want to be an actor. The minute you decide you want to go into any of those fields, you are putting yourself out there, out in the open. And you got to have thick skin. Trust me. In my early years of podcasting, sometimes it used to just rattle me for a couple of hours, some of the things that would come my fucking way. But then eventually I just had to say, okay, you know what? We got to weed out the trolls as opposed to those that are sincerely giving constructive criticism, those that are essentially saying, you know, hey, you're on to something, but work on this, and yeah, you know, cater towards that as opposed to feeding into the trolls, you know. And I don't know how young Brandy is, but from my personal experience, just, Brandy, welcome to my world. I mean, seriously, welcome to my world. There's been many times where I've had motherfuckers call me the N-word. I've had motherfuckers call me a gorilla. I've had motherfuckers say I was gay. I've had motherfuckers call me a faggot. I mean, and you know what, man? I'm like this. Life is too fucking short. I ain't got time to be tripping over people that's spewing nothing but hate and all that other shit. My mentality, and this is the way, and it's kind of funny how it came to me, but just for me personally, to each its own, but for me personally, I find that the older I get, the more wiser I get, and my tolerance for bullshit, it's just, nope, not having it. Whereas before it was, I had a high tolerance for the bullshit. Now it's just, nah, I see what's going on with that. Yeah, I'm done. Not interested. So for me, I made this decision a long time ago, and I've been operating like this now for maybe over 5 years, just about. If it's not of constructive criticism, if it's not positive, I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't want anything to do with it. That's just my mentality. I can't say if she's telling a lie or not. I can't. I would hope, though, if she is the chief branding officer, if she has XYZ to do with social media strategy and all that other shit, it's kind of like an oxymoron that, okay, well, because this was said to you on social media, you're shutting down your accounts. Let me tell you something. That's too much power you're giving to one individual. Think about that for a second. And everybody else, anytime, and I know there's many of you guys out there, especially you younger listeners out there, I get it with social media. Sadly, social media, it's a beautiful fucking thing. It's a cool ass thing because you get to make friends from all different places of the world and everything. But there is that dark side to it, and that dark side to it, you've got people that are fucking trolls that will fucking hide behind avatars and all kinds of other stupid shit, multiple accounts, and they'll just be doing all kinds of stupid little shit or whatever. It's sad, but it's true. You have to know at the end of the day your own self-value, your own self-worth, and you have to know that, well, wait a minute, I've got the most powerful thing at my disposal whenever I see something that I don't agree with, or whenever somebody is saying something that is hateful, somewhat harmful towards me or somebody I know. I got the most powerful thing that's at my disposal. I got my finger. I can either report that, or I can report that and block that motherfucker, or I can just block that motherfucker altogether and I don't have to fucking deal with them again. Brandy, take a page from CM Punk's playbook. I'm sure you guys recall there was that one moment, CM Punk, the best in the world thing that he had on Fight TV. Remember when he said there was a cool feature he had learned on Twitter and he was able to filter out XYZ? Go back. You guys know, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, just take that page. But that's too much power to be giving to one individual. You just played right into their hands when it's all said and done. Now, if you want to be done with social media because from what you're able to see, there is just so much toxicity. You know what? I'm with you. Mauro Ranallo, God bless him for his fucking sanity. He fucking ditched social media and he hasn't looked back ever since. It was starting to get too toxic. For some people, they just can't handle it. And if you're noticing that it's honestly become too toxic, hey, more power fucking to you, but Don't give one individual, and I really hope it's not the case where two steps from a distance, it just really kind of comes off like, well, because this was said, I'm done with social media. Now you got the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks, they're saying, yeah, well, the reason why we went off social media was because we had, what was it they said? They said something along the lines of they had got some, I don't know if it was hate mail, but there was something that was sent to their personal addresses, which just freaked them the fuck out. And they decided they were going to, be done with social media as a result. Now, I kind of call bullshit on that one, and I'm going to explain why I kind of call bullshit on that one. Notice I gave Brandy a pass. I sympathize with her right there. Did I not? Did I not? Young Bucks I kind of call bullshit on for one simple reason. And the reason is this. Okay, so at the time when you deactivated your social media accounts and all that, this was fresh off of that spot on Dynamite where we had that one member of the Dark Order that was clear as day. Clear as day. Them punches were not connecting on Dustin Rhodes. Clear as fucking day. And they were ridiculed left and right. Once it was revealed who was in charge of the tag division, who had the hand in the Dark Order and all this other shit, Young Bucks were getting their asses handed to them. And it got too fucking hot in the kitchen. They fucking bailed out on social media. Right down to the point. Remember, there was, I don't know if it was a Being the Elite clip or what, but you had this video of the Bucks. I don't know if they were with their dad, but there was some older guy that was laying on a sofa or something, and one of the Bucks was on top of him, throwing the punches, and they didn't say anything, they were just throwing the punches into the sofa, kind of sending a message that they're hearing the fans. Like, okay, all right, cool. What else you got? Now, all these months later, you want to say to me that the reason why the accounts were deactivated, whatever you want to call it, deleted, whatever you want to call it, was because some fan found out your address, creeped you the fuck out, and that's why you took your accounts all off. Well, here's the thing. Here's what I don't understand. If that be the case, then why not issue that statement ASAP? Why not put a statement like that out ASAP? As far as I know, they still got their Instagram. It's the Twitter that they ditched. So what I don't understand is, if that was really the case, then why not post something on Instagram that week that this supposed fan sent this mail to your house, and put up a little video, because you can put up a little video on Instagram or put up a little photo post or whatever and say, hey, this type of behavior, we don't expect this from our fans. We don't want you guys to be conducting yourselves in this type of fashion. We love you guys and everything, but hey, if you want to send us something, hey, this is what our P.O. box is for. Failure to comply and you're going all out of your way trying to find out our personal address and you're sending shit there, hey man, you're liable. We would be willing to work with whatever local authorities, and you feel where I'm coming from. So I kind of find that to be a little bit weird that they say that's why they deactivated their accounts there, their Twitter account. I kind of call bullshit on that one, because you don't sit on something like that. You just don't. At least with the Brandy situation, you could kind of look at that and say, well, almost a week passed since Brandy deleted the account. And trust me, I've been in that mindset where somebody says something on social media that just rubs you the wrong way, and it's kind of got you fuming for a bit. And you're just kind of going, what the fuck? Like, it's some heavy shit, and then you're trying to figure out how to get back to even playing field there. So I could kind of understand where Brandy might be coming from, and then basically Cody speak. I can kind of see that. I got it. The Bucks thing, I don't know, man. I kind of got to call bullshit on that one. That's just me, though. Teach its own. Hey, I want to give a shout out to some of our sponsors. Before I give a shout out to some of our sponsors, if you guys been enjoying the show so far, please do me a huge favor. However you're watching it, make sure you hit the like, heart, definitely retweet, all that good stuff. It helps tremendously. Ultimately, it helps more people discover the show as it comes about in the form of a recommendation. So do that. Appreciate it in advance. Subscribe too. If you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe. Yeah, let's get into some Patreon shoutouts, man. Patreon.com/RCWR show. Check out bonus audio video content. Won't be able to find anywhere else. I have not forgotten about Impact Showdown. I will be sitting down Friday night to actually record that episode for you guys. I would do it tonight, but I'm actually just a couple of minutes in. Well, actually, no, it's not a couple of minutes because we've been on the air for about, 90 minutes now. I literally came in from work, hopped on the show. I plan on mixing the audio version of this down, getting it out there because we got some sponsors. We'll get into that in a little bit. But that's it. Get this out. Enjoy the rest of the night. Watch me some basketball. Shout out to Patreon member Sean Kenter. Shout out to Gino, shout out to you, brother. Shout out to Justin Ripstock. Justin, get at me, man. Let me know how you been. If I can remember, I'll definitely try to send you a DM. Shout out to Michael Wolf. Shout out to John Davis. Shout out to Tony Bing Gaming. I don't know if he still has the giveaway, but he was giving away a beta code for Square Enix's Marvel's Avengers game that's going to be coming up. You heard me right. He was giving away a beta code where you could basically play the beta. I don't know if he still has it available, but check him out. Tony Bing Gaming. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got a Patreon paywall as well. He's always doing tips, tricks, news, walkthroughs, reviews, sneak peeks for Marvel Strike Force, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, and the upcoming Square Enix Marvel's Avengers game. So check all of those great cats out. Love those guys tremendously. Patreon.com/RCWR show. $5 a month gets you access to bonus audio, video content, including our exclusive Wrestling with the Topic series, Impact Showdown covering Impact Wrestling Fallout, 30 with Lee, and so much more. $5 instantly, you get access to all of that great content. We got a couple of sponsors I definitely want to show some love to as well. We're going to do this right now so we can have fun with the rest of the show because we got loads more awesome content we're going to be able to get into. We're working with these sponsors for the next couple of weeks, so I'm very happy to have them on board. Check this out because I know our audience, I see the age demographics for our audience and everything. Do you or your entire family have life insurance with living benefits? I want you to ask yourselves that question. Also ask yourselves this question: will your insurance company pay you 70 to 90% of your policy's face value if you experience a qualifying terminal, chronic, or critical illness or a critical injury? This may be one of the most important decisions of your life. So I want you to request a living benefits insurance quote today. Head over to livingbenefitsinsurancequote.com. That's livingbenefitsinsurancequote.com. Or you could go with get started with livingbenefits.com, whichever one you want. You could also give them a call at area code 773-609-2226. That's 773-609-2226. And again, that website, livingbenefitsinsurancequote.com. We are also brought to you in part by opt.tv. I got an exclusive promo code for you guys to check out with regards to opt.tv. Look, we're in the middle of a pandemic still. A lot of sacrifices have to be made. A lot of sacrifices, especially financially. People are cutting whatever they can cut from their bills right now, because they're trying to save every single dollar. If TV is one of those things that, man, I want to, but op.tv may be your solution. If you've been thinking about cutting the cable for quite some time now, they can help you out. They got low prices beginning at just $6, depending on the package you select, beginning at $6. We're talking over 1,200 channels. Get your local in there, you get your sports, on-demand stuff, movies, stuff for the kids, stuff for people of all ages. $6 begins at that. Now, use the promo code RCWR show on any product you select at checkout, and you get 20% off. If you want to test them out and do a free trial, they got a 12-hour free trial that requires no credit card. Act now, because I think that's only going to be available for a limited time. So check that out. But I'm confident you guys will fuck with it so much. Remember that promo code RCWR show, get 20% off. Last but not least, this is our last sponsor plug. We are brought to you also in part by thepharmacysaver.com. Lord knows, y'all know I'm a diabetic, so my medicine, I like to try to get the lowest price humanly possible. I know some of you guys kind of have that same kind of situation, depending on whatever medicine you're supposed to be taking. It can be pricey sometimes, even if you have Medicare or whatever copay. It can still be a little bit expensive for you. Thepharmacysaver.com. These guys can help you out. If you have limited prescription coverage, or if you're uninsured, they can help you out through their free prescription discount card program. You, your family, even your pets can save up to 85% off your prescription costs at local pharmacies without any extra out-of-pocket expenses. You heard me right. Learn more info, check out thepharmacysaver.com. Make sure you put THE in there. Thepharmacysaver.com. One more time, thepharmacysaver.com. Appreciate all of these sponsors that's working with us for these next couple of weeks on the RCWR show. These guys, combined with our Patreon members, collectively, they help keep the show going. You guys have no idea. Show expenses, contests, all types of, you'd be surprised, man. The website, a whole bunch of stuff. Let's get into some more stuff, man. Let's get into some more action here on the show. So we talked about AEW. NXT for this week. I kind of felt NXT was a little bit of a so-so episode as well. I gotta tell you, I really enjoyed hearing and seeing Keith Lee come out, kicking off NXT. And he's all pissed off, and he's throwing a couple of curse words out there at Karrion Kross. He's been trying to get his hands on him and everything, calling him a little punk-ass bitch. I was feeling all of that. I loved all of that. To see that whole contract signing come about, I liked it, but I did not like the part where the fucking contract in the folder just basically blew a fireball into his face. I just thought that was so cheesy. Let me explain to you why I thought it was cheesy. I thought it was cheesy because after Scarlett Bordeaux signs it, or no, she doesn't sign it. She gives it to Karrion Kross to sign, and he signs it. And she simply puts it in the ring. Okay, my dude, it's signed. There's no reason for you to open it up. And what do you need to look at? It's been signed. I mean, just really stop and think about that for a second. Seriously, just stop and think about that for a second. I pity the fool. I want you. I want you bad. I'm tired of you. Like, I'm sorry. All right, take two. It's like, I'm tired of you juking and jiving your way out of not having a match with me. You ain't gonna be dodging me no more. I was able to talk to General Manager CeeLo, and he granted me this match. So I'm gonna finally be able to whoop that ass at Madison Square Garden on September the 30th, Daddy-O. All you need to do is quit being a little punk ass bitch and sign on the dotted line, cause your ass will be mine on September 30th at MSG. What do you say, bro? Alright, so I pass you the contract. You sign it, you close it, you give it back to me. That should be it, right? If anything, you just sealed your fate. You have no idea what's going to be in store for you at MSG September 30th when you and me square up one-on-one. Because it ain't going to be just any old kind of match. No. It's going to be, it ain't going to be your typical ass-kicking match. No. This is going to be, hallelujah, call your mother, call the reverend, get the pallbearer ready. Cause your ass is gonna die on September 30th at MSG. Okay? So why, I'm asking you guys, why after I just seen you, my opponent, sign the contract, and you fold it up and here you go. Why do I need to open it up? So that right there in itself was just very comical to me. It really was. It really was. You know what really would have been cooler? If you had to have some type of a fireball thing or whatever go about. You know what really would have been cool? Is if Karrion Kross signed it. Scarlett Bordeaux. You know, she takes it. She doesn't fold it up. None of that shit. She just takes it. Slides it in the ring. And if my man Keith Lee picked it up, then it just, boom, the fireball. Okay, that'd be one thing. But you knew something was going down. You just knew some stupid shit was going down because, okay, Keith Lee got what he wanted. All right, let's go to commercial. But the longer that Keith Lee just stood there and he kept looking at that fucking joint, you're going... there's something weird that's about to... You know, it seems so fucking comical. I thought I was watching Wile E. Coyote in a Looney Tunes skit, and, you know, he's testing out something on the Road Runner, and sadly, I don't know, maybe he was trying to poison the Road Runner, and the Road Runner fucking ate up the food, yum, 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 beep, 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 poof, and he's gone, and Wile E. Coyote's like... Wait a minute. Wait, he should have dropped dead after eating that. What the hell? And he goes to eat it and he drops dead. I kind of felt like I was watching something along those lines. But then, what was even more... Okay, this is really comical now. So the fireball's in Keith Lee's face, and we basically have an additional... What was that? It felt like a fucking eternity. It felt like we went through about 15 minutes of watching Keith Lee... It's like, wow. So bad it was interrupting the Drake Maverick. That tells us all we need to know about Drake Maverick and the new contract that he's got. And he's staying with NXT. He's staying with the WWE. We know all we need to know about Drake Maverick. Oh, Drake Maverick. All the people on social media, they were really cheering for him. And Triple H coming all out there. You know, how could we, with a guy like this, you know, he really took the universe by storm, you know, we're listening, yeah. Yeah, we know all we need to know about poor little fucking Drake Maverick when we get the side-by-side fucking screen and we're focusing in on fucking Keith Lee. Some parts of Keith Lee they're doing right, and then there's other parts where I'm looking and I'm just going... I'll tell you the one that still has me perturbed to this very day. The fact that Keith Lee held the North American Championship and the NXT Championships for 1 week and then relinquished the North American Championship. Meanwhile, we got Bayley and Sasha Banks running around with all that gold. And I've yet to see or hear either one of them in storyline well, want to give other people an opportunity. So, there you go. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. So yeah, that was too comical for me. Too comical. WWE's got to be careful because you're on a little bit of a slippery slope there. If you do too many of those little comical things, over-exaggerated joints with Keith Lee, you're going to diminish him a bit. That's just my personal take. To each its own, but that's just my personal take. Looks like Rhea Ripley and Mercedes Martinez, they're going to be locking it up. I think that's going to be great. I think that's going to be fucking great. And I also love the fact that aside from Rhea Ripley and Mercedes Martinez, I also love the fact that you got Shotzi Blackheart now teaming up with Rhea Ripley. Not that Shotzi Blackheart needs the rub. She really doesn't. She's been doing just fine as a solo act. But with this whole Robert Stone brand thing and Aaliyah and Mercedes Martinez, just the way it all just intertwines, I'm actually looking forward to that. I'm more so looking forward to honestly seeing Rhea Ripley, Mercedes Martinez one-on-one. I will eat that shit up any day of the week. Any day of the week. And can I just say how ecstatic I am that Mercedes Martinez is finally in WWE. I've been watching this girl since Shimmer and Shine. So I'm definitely showing my age a little bit because, that was like 10, 11 years ago. I was fucking, we were still, we were freshly new with the podcast and everything. And I just remember I'm happy that she's finally in the fucking WWE, man. Speaking of Shotzi Blackheart, I see apparently she was the victim of her car being stolen. I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but she revealed that her car was stolen recently and it had her in-ring gear in it and all that shit. And she had posted a video to YouTube making an announcement that her car was returned to her. All her gear, her ring gear, was in it as well. A little small quote here. I'm not getting the impression this was a storyline here, so I don't want you guys thinking that. This was actually some real shit. So she said, and I quote, "So I'm in my wrestling gear because I'm about to wrestle, and I was in the middle of brushing my teeth, and then I got a call that they found my car." And the video, it shows her going to the police to get her car and everything, and yeah, everything was intact. So I mean, you hear that, you can't help but go, I mean, that sounds weird, don't it? Like, so your car was stolen, there was in-ring gear in it, and I mean, that doesn't happen. That normally, normally if a car gets stolen, 9 out of 10, you ain't seeing that son of a bitch again. You ain't seeing that son of a bitch again. If you lucky, maybe the next time you see it, it's going to be parts at the center because they fucking scrapped it up and, they sold the radio player, they sold the AC, they sold the fucking airbags and all that other shit. But I mean, hey, that's a good feel story. If that don't make you feel good and make you say, you know what, there are some decently kind human beings in this world after all, I don't know what's going to make you feel any positive way towards humanity when it's all said and done. I'm trying to think what else had happened on NXT this week. I actually got to look at my notes here a little more here. Bear with me a second because I'm looking at NXT right now. What else had happened here? Danny Burch squash match, losing to Karrion Kross. Yeah. Hey, I'm happy for Karrion Kross, but I'm just ready because I know what he's capable of because I've seen him wrestle for other promotions. I'm just ready to see him and fucking Keith Lee lock it up already. So I mean, the joint with Danny Burch, it really didn't do anything for me. Drake Maverick taking on Killian Dane. I think that ended in a no contest. But we really wouldn't know because we were so distracted by what was going on with Keith Lee trying to fucking take his eyes out there. Let's see, what else we got here? Santos Escobar, I skipped his shit. I found that dude. Let me tell you something, man. I don't know what it is. I'm not interested. You give me Rey Mysterio, I'm good. You give me Zelina Vega, I'm good. You give me Andrade. Andrade's really growing on me, especially now that he's speaking more and more English. I can tell he's really working. Charlotte's doing a good job with him, breaking the English down and everything. I'm down with that. You give me fucking... I'm forgetting somebody. I said Andrade. Who's the one that likes to always give fucking Charlie a rose? Angel Garza. Fucking love Angel Garza. Did I mention Rey Mysterio? Even Dominic. I love Dominic. I don't know what it is, but there is something about Santos Escobar. He does nothing for me. Nothing for me. I don't know what it is. It's kind of weird, but yeah, I snooze on that one. I ain't gonna lie. I snooze on that one. Indy Hartwell face Mia Yim. Mia Yim continuing to do... Both girls continuing to do pretty good on NXT. I am really, I gotta be honest with you guys, I'm really, very quickly becoming a big fan of Indy Hartwell. I love her look. She has a very distinct, unique look. I mean, she really stands out. There's an exotic, and I don't mean that in a sexual way. I think you guys know what I'm. There is something exotic and alluring just about her overall presence. I don't know what it is. I don't know if that's because... I think she's from Australia, so I don't know if that's just an Australian thing when it comes to some of these women, from other countries. I don't know what it is, but there's just something about her that just... You got to keep your eyes on her. And whether she's losing or she's in a talking segment or whatever, I always stop what I'm doing to see what's going on with her. I got big things. I'm going to go on record and I'm going to say there's big things in store for her. I would be shocked if 2 years from now, nothing has happened for that young woman yet. I would be very, very shocked. Bronson Reed taking on Damian Priest. I ate this shit up. Got interrupted by a commercial. Everything else was on point though. Good action. Good solid fucking action. Two big bulls going at it. Bronson picking up the W there. Aaliyah and Mercedes Martinez. They face Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter. You automatically knew Kaden Carter, Casey Catanzaro. You automatically knew who was gonna win that one. You ain't need to fake. Next week is where things get interesting. Adam Cole, Pat McAfee, they face off. I'm really confused by this whole Adam Cole, Pat McAfee thing. Here's where I'm confused. Here's where and why I'm confused. And the fans, look, I think it's cool that they got the fans portrayed by, some of the development talents there. But riddle me this. You got Pat McAfee that is spewing hot fucking garbage about Adam Cole, all kicking off on the Pat McAfee show. And then just when you think that maybe things kind of got squashed, Pat McAfee comes on NXT and he's just continuing to poke the bear. And you're kind of like, why the hell is Pat McAfee acting like such a douchebag? Why is he acting like such a dick to fucking Adam Cole here? What the hell? And then Adam Cole just can't take it anymore. They have this brawl. Pat McAfee punched the shit out of Adam Cole. Okay, so this is where I'm kind of like, wait a minute, in storyline here. And everything ties to the type of reaction that Adam Cole had got from those people that were the fans this week on NXT. Stay with me. Okay, so Pat McAfee punched the shit out of Adam Cole. Now, given the fact that Pat McAfee was a punter in the NFL, so if Pat McAfee is using his leg, his foot, to physically do harm to an individual, you can then look at that fucking leg of his as a weapon. Can you not? It would be no different than a boxer and his fists. Don't matter if he's retired. If he was a boxer, prize fighter, all this other shit, and here he is as a civilian getting into a fight with somebody, the court, the judicial system, is going to look at those fists as a lethal weapon. So what I don't understand is, from a storyline standpoint, this should have gone in another direction in storyline, just to really make things kind of interesting. Here's the other point. Remember the fans I was just talking about earlier? All right, now let's bring them in. So Adam Cole has every right to be upset at the antics, the despicable actions of Pat McAfee. He has every right to be. Question though, why are the fans booing Adam Cole? Adam Cole was the victim. And here's the other part. Here's where I'm really fucking confused. You have the UE come out, and this is where I need for WWE to, okay, who's the heel and who's the face? You guys are confusing the fuck out of me. Because just when we think Pat McAfee is the heel and Adam Cole is the baby face, no, Adam Cole and the UE are heels. Because the UE, if I remember it right, they beat the crap out of Drake Maverick and Killian Dane. Now, I hope as a result of that, Killian Dane and Maverick put their differences to the side, join forces, and try to get some retribution on some of those guys there in the UE. But what I don't understand is, why is the crowd booing Adam Cole when he's talking about what happened to him as a result of his interactions with Pat McAfee? If we're going to boo Adam Cole for what he did to Drake Maverick and Killian Dane, I'm down with that. But once he starts talking about Pat McAfee, he should be winning the crowd over. So I'm a little bit confused right there, and I'm totally fucking confused. I can just imagine the fans that are probably confused. Okay, who's the heel and who's the face here? Not really sure what's going on here. It seemed as though we were kind of going in a more sympathetic route for Adam Cole, because, oh, okay, Pat McAfee, the dumb, arrogant, cocky little jock, little football jock. Okay, yeah, we get it. Very weird how that went down. So hopefully WWE can clean that up a bit. They need to clean that up with quickness. Let's see. Other than that, I'm looking at the rest of the NXT card. Your main event match of the night, North American Championship qualifying match. Cameron Grimes took on Kushida, and the returning Velveteen Dream, or Velveteen Close Your DMs Dream. What school do you go to, Dream? Grimes picking up the W. This match felt very rushed. Nothing really special about it. You can't help but wonder. I like speculating on some occasions. You can't help but wonder if it wasn't for the recent allegations, let's just call it that, of Velveteen Dream if Velveteen Dream maybe would have. Now, I know that there is going to be one more match, last chance opportunity to try to get into this whole thing for the North American Championship, as Velveteen Dream is going to be facing Finn Balor on next week's NXT. Yeah, but you still can't help but kind of toy with that in the back of your mind. You know what I'm saying? Also, Cameron Grimes. Look, I'm happy for Cameron Grimes. I mean, he's not going to become the North American champion, but I am happy for the guy. He's still, for me, I still don't like the son of a bitch. And it's nothing personal. It's just, I don't like the character. I don't know what it is. I don't like the character. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's good that every time I see Cameron Grimes comes out, I just want to see him get the living shit beat out of. Maybe it's good I feel that way. I mean, typically that's what happens to him. Yeah. But at the same time, he's a channel flipper. I can't tell you how many times I've seen Cameron Grimes on my TV, and I go, oh, he's out here. Let me see what else is on real quick. Don't I got a game on or something? Let me change the channel real quick. So, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Yeah, but nothing really stood out particularly about NXT this week. Wasn't like Rhea Ripley, Dakota, nothing like that from last week. Nothing like that. Mainly build up for TakeOver was the gist of it. And the stuff with Karrion Kross, Keith Lee, that was corny as fuck. So, what did I give AEW earlier? I think I gave them a 6.5 out of 7. I would give NXT for this week, I would give them same rating, 6.5 out of. Oh no, I'm sorry, 6.5 out of 10 for AEW, and I would give for NXT this week a 6.5 out of 10. Now, let's talk ratings. I almost saw the ratings, but I did not, because when I was looking up the AEW Saturday, August 22nd date, so I could let you guys know the matches, I saw a headline that alluded to the ratings, but I was able to stop myself from reading anything there. I'm going to say, between the two shows, I'm going to say AEW did it. And I'm just going in my notepad here. I'm going to say AEW did... I'm going to say AEW did 7... No. Yeah, I'm going to say AEW did 734,250. And I'm going to say NXT did 618,000. Now, let's see what the official numbers are for this week on that note. Let's see what we got here. And we'll just type in AEW ratings and we'll see what we got here. All right, here we go. Survey says, according to Showbuzz Daily, Dynamite averaged 792,000 viewers during its 2-hour broadcast this Wednesday night. Remember the number that I just put out there, my prediction. I said AEW was going to be 734,250, and the official number for Dynamite this week is 792,000. All right. Meanwhile, in NXT, remember, NXT, I said 618,000. For NXT, god damn, I was close. Wow. NXT did 619,000. 619,000. I would love to see the segment by segment breakthrough. I would love to see that. I'm trying to see if maybe I can spot that real quick here. Let me see here. Is there any way I can see that real quick? Bear with me a second here. Okay, so in comparison, NXT pulled in 619,000 viewers on the USA Network. All Elite Wrestling grabbed the headlines last week by getting 901,000 viewers, but they experienced a minus 12% drop from
last week's number for this week's show, okay? NXT also witnessed a noticeable drop as they drew 753,000 viewers last week, which amounts to a minus 18% drop for this week. Coming to the 18 to 49 demo, AEW had a 0.32 rating, which was minus 11% down from last week. NXT had a 0.16 rating in the 18 to 49 demo, which was a minus 20% drop from previous show's score. Okay. I'm not seeing the segment breakdown just yet, though. So hopefully before the weekend is out, well, if it's not already out, we'll have that. Because I'm most curious, how did particularly the Orange Cassidy Jericho segment, how did that do compared to NXT's final segment? Because remember, Cassidy and Jericho, the first go round, for the entire night, that was the lowest segment of that show. And if I remember it right, it was the lowest segment for Dynamite period since it has been on TNT. So I'm most curious how it did this go round with these two guys locking it up again in the main event compared to their first encounter. We'll know soon. Don't worry, I'll definitely revisit it. See, other than that, hang on a second. How are we doing on Showtime? How long we been on the air here? Let me look at the recorder here. All right, so just a little bit over 2 hours. All right, so we got a couple more topics we can get into before we get ready to wrap it up. I do have a couple of more headlines. AEW-wise, Sadie Gibbs. You guys will probably say, who? Sadie Gibbs has revealed on social media that her tenure with AEW is over. She pretty much had confirmed it to fans this week on Twitter. And if you guys recall, just to kind of jog your memory a little bit, she was involved in the Casino Battle Royale at All Out last year. And she worked 2 matches on AEW Dark, last competing in October. And pretty much she hasn't been seen since then. So she's not really saying too much, but basically what she is saying is that there were things that were just out of her control due to circumstances, and pretty much, yeah, that's it. That's pretty much the end of it. Also, while we're talking about AEW, Walmart, bullshit you not, Walmart is apparently limiting the sales of AEW figures due to popularity. Take this report with a grain of salt. This could be some fake buzz, you never know. But apparently there are some Walmarts that have been limiting the sales of AEW's new action figures to 2 per customer due to their popularity. Now, I don't know about you guys. Mrs. will tell you, anytime we go to Walmart, Target, I always say to her, let's stop by the toy section. It's a ritual now. And she knows exactly what I mean when I say, let's go to the toy section. That's my way of saying, hey, I want to see what's popular, what's got the people talking and everything, what's trending right now, what looks cool right now. And so she's got a good eye. She'll usually spot some stuff out. This last go around, she spotted a really good, from the Todd McFarlane toy line. She spotted a really good Batman that had me go, ooh, oh, that is pretty cool. We saw Superman. There was a really cool Beth Phoenix action figure. It was by itself. I can't remember what series it was under, but compared to the dual set, because there was a dual set that had Seth and Becky, the solo Becky looked identical to the real life Becky, whereas the Becky that was grouped in with the Seth, it didn't look like her at all. So we were finding some really cool toys there. Now, I can tell you, because I was at Walmart as of
Oh shit, what day was that we went to Walmart? We went to Walmart on Friday, last Friday. We ain't see no section for AEW merchandise. I repeat, we did not see any section for AEW merchandise. Now, I kind of want you to have that in the back of your head, and also have in the back of your head Walmart as well, for this simple reason. I'm most curious to know what are the current arrangements WWE has with retailers, if any are still intact, because I remember many years ago WWE has struck up an exclusive deal with Walmart where Walmart and Toys R Us, if I remember right, but Toys R Us is essentially out of the game right now, but they worked out an exclusive deal where all their merchandise, toys, DVDs, t-shirts, whatever, you'd be able to get that at Walmart. Not Target, but definitely at Walmart. So I'm most curious, and I think this is a case where maybe somebody I can't think of my guy's name right now. There's somebody on Twitter that I follow. He does a really great podcast, WrestleNomics, and I think he's actually one of the upper management guys in AEW. I can see his face. I can't picture his name right now. He probably would know what's going on with that, if it expired or what. I'm not saying that this report is a lie. What I'm saying is, I just find that whole thing interesting that, it's so popular, we're limiting them. I've never heard of anything like that before in my entire life. And you're talking to somebody who at one point was collecting toys, figurines of all types. My God, I must have started when I was in high school, and I pretty much had stopped. I would say I stopped. I don't think I really did stop, because I did take part in the Kickstarter campaign for the Spawn thing from Todd McFarlane. So now I just gravitate towards like really cool statues, things of that nature. So I think it just depends. So I really haven't stopped. But the fact that I've been doing it since high school, so that's over 20 years right there, because I haven't been in high school since like 99. So yeah, that fucking long. So I've never in all of my years, I'll pass it to you guys, in all my years, and I've bought toys, shit that was hot. White hot. You got to get this. It's that hot. It's that cool. I've never heard of a situation where, you can only get two. Never heard of that. I can hear that for some water or tissue or, paper towels, new game console. I've never heard that before for toys. Tell me I'm wrong. Convince me otherwise. But I've never heard that before in my life. So if you guys spot them, let me know. Because I've yet to spot them. And I was at Walmart this past Friday. I ain't see any. If they're out and about now, I'll definitely, I'll piggy on back. Maybe they're out there now. See, what else can we get into here? I'm just looking at some more in the notes here. One thing I did want to get into, but I'm actually saving it for the show. Looks like there's an update with regards to Jeff Jarrett and Anthem. Just a bullet point. The judge pretty much, just to sum it up, the judge pretty much wants for Jeff Jarrett and his people and Anthem to work this out amongst themselves. Try to figure out some type of settlement. That's all you need to know. But that's really the bullet points of it. I'm not going to go any more heavy into it. Also, I would be paying very close attention to TNT. I know that Bob Greenblatt and Kevin Riley, they are out at Warner Media in what's being described as a management shakeup. And when it's all said and done, these guys were, essentially responsible for giving the green light to have pro wrestling return to TNT. So, look, I know you guys are probably going to be hearing from Cody, the Bucks, Tony Khan, hey, we're good. We're bringing in the numbers. Hey, look at what we're doing with the demo. This is great. We got this contract with TNT for blah, blah, blah years. We're good. Stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Just like how passionately I always am with Impact Wrestling or any promotion, the last thing I want to see is a promotion out of business, because that hurts the talents. That doesn't give them another platform that they can use to showcase their skills, be discovered and everything to a new audience. Men and women behind the scenes. The last thing I want to do is see a promotion go out of business. But I definitely would be paying very close attention to, these new heads that are going to be going in here. But yeah, I don't know how many of you guys were even aware of those kind of logistics that, is going on and everything. But yeah, it's being described as a massive executive shakeup at Warner Media. As, again, Bob Greenblatt and Kevin Riley, they're exiting the company. Keith Kozaka, Executive Vice President of Corporate Marketing and Communications, he's also going to be stepping down. Warner Media CEO Jason Keller made the announcement in a memo. So this pretty much goes back to last week. In addition, Ann Sarnoff has been promoted to oversee a newly expanded content group, with Casey Bloys now reporting to Sarnoff. Bloys was previously the president of HBO programming, but will now oversee original content for HBO Max and the linear networks TNT, TBS, and True TV. Per the memo, Sarnoff, who is the Warner Brothers chair and CEO, will now lead what Keller refers to as the studios and networks groups. The group will be combining original production, content studios, and programming capabilities currently spread across Warner Brothers. So HBO, HBO Max, TNT, TBS, and True TV. So, I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. When it's all said and done, I could go a lot more, but that's the meat and potatoes of it all. So really, the one thing you want to have burning in the back of your mind is those two guys I just named. They really were the core pieces there to give the green light for wrestling returning to TNT and everything. So I just find it interesting how receptive wrestling is in 2020 compared to decades prior, where it was frowned upon and everything. Look, I hope AEW is able to keep the momentum up. And, honestly, I hope that with the NBA playoffs playing out on TNT, that they can, grow their audience. I mean, to go from, not for nothing, but to go from 900,000+ viewers, and you fast forward and what is it now? 734,250. So I mean, that's a difference of, hey Google, what's 900,000 minus 734,250?
The answer is 165,750.
So basically 165,000 plus difference. Where did all those fans go? I just want them to just stay at a certain range, and to kind of justify the contract and all of that. It's just a big old domino effect. But I tell you what, some of the hokey dokey shit that AEW is kind of currently doing right now, they keep it up, and those numbers are going to continue to go lower, man, without a doubt. So something cool I want to point out to you guys as we get ready to wrap it up here. One, with regards to NBA, All right, so we pretty much got the playoffs. Everything's going to be kicking off August the 17th. But I've seen enough now, and I'm willing to place my bets on who I think is going to be going into the NBA Finals when it's all said and done. So the way I'm looking at it right now, let me look at the teams here. I'm looking at the Lakers. The key, though, is going to be Anthony Davis. That's going to be the key. I really need for Anthony Davis, as tall as that brother is and the width of his shoulders and everything, I really need, especially when you got him and Dwight Howard. I mean, call them the Tower Brothers. I mean, shit. I need those guys to just be killing it in the fucking paint. Okay, you think you're gonna, force the double team. That way, you feel where I'm coming from? But what kind of Anthony Davis are we gonna get? That's the real question. We need a consistent Anthony Davis that can be delivering 25 points plus, be killing it on the rebounds and all that. But I'm pretty confident the Lakers, and this is me unbiased here, no favorites, because there's always a handful of teams I follow every single year. Basketball is no exception. But based on what I was able to see when I was out sick last week going into now, I'm pretty confident the Lakers are going to be in the NBA Finals. If there was maybe a dark horse I could see that could knock them off, maybe it's a dark horse. Maybe the Trailblazers. That's my dark horse. But when I'm looking at the current seedings here, when I'm looking at 2 through 9 with the Blazers in at 9. Nah. I got Lakers legitimate challenge. I think Trailblazers would give them the best fucking challenge. But Lakers in the NBA Finals. And then for the East, as far as who's going to be representing the East, man, I really, really love the fucking Bucks, man. I love the Bucks, but then the Raptors. Only thing it's Raptors, but essentially they ain't got Kawhi. That's the only thing. Boston was kind of growing on me too there a little bit there. I gotta go with Raptors. Yeah. I think Raptors can actually make a return to the NBA Finals. So I think it's going to be Lakers and the Raptors for the NBA Finals. As far as a dark horse on the Eastern side, a dark horse, I would say 76ers, but with Ben Simmons out, and now you got Joel Embiid out, I mean, they pretty much done. Brooklyn Nets, get the fuck out of here. And fuck them. Maybe the Celtics, but for a dark horse. But I'm really leaning more towards the Raptors. So I'm thinking it's going to be Lakers, Raptors, NBA Finals. Also, talking about basketball, go out of your way if you ain't check it out yet. Man, the beef between Damian Lillard and Skip Bayless, god damn, that shit is juicy. I ate that shit up. All right, so I don't want to be long-winded with it, because when I saw all this playing out initially, I just was like, wow. All right, so in a nutshell, y'all know how outspoken Damian Lillard was originally when it came to the whole return of basketball during the pandemic. And I'm sure Damian Lillard, if he could have reworded what he was trying to say differently, he would have. But basically, what he was trying to say, back in like March was, hey, if there's a way that the NBA return can be structured in such fashion where our team does legitimately have a shot getting into the playoffs, yeah, I'd be up for playing. But as it stands right now, I'm not interested in playing. And Skip Bayless, he took that shit personal, and he just went off on a whole little rant about it. He was pretty hot-tempered, and he questioned who the hell Damian Lillard was. Like, who is this guy? Like, I know who LeBron James is. LeBron James has that cachet, but what cachet does Damian Lillard have? Like, he doesn't have any. You go back to, playoffs and all that from last year, he had 4 cracks at Golden State Warriors. 4 cracks at Golden State Warriors without Kevin Durant, and he couldn't seal the deal. Clutch player? Nah, he ain't clutch. So Stephen A. Smith, a couple other people, they reached out to Skip, and they was like, hey, Damian, he wants to talk to you. Can we pass along your phone number? And Skip's like, yeah, sure. So Damian sent a scathing text. Skip, he's one of those type of people, he ain't gonna run. So he called Damian. They talked for about an hour. Damian was pretty hot-headed. He was pretty upset. He just let it all out. Skip tried to be as civil as possible, but the way the phone conversation ended, it was pretty much, yeah, that was interesting. So Skip's impression is that because of that 1 hour phone conversation he had with Damian Lillard, that Damian, okay, we talked for an hour, meeting of the minds. Okay, since we talked, now I have immunity. You're no longer going to be coming after me because, we kind of have an understanding. Even though Damian Lillard didn't flat out ask Skip, can you please stop? So the next go round, when Skip starts talking about Damian Lillard again, this go round, it pretty much happens. The game that's in question. We don't even need to talk about it. Yeah, he missed those free throws. It happens to the best. Skip, once again, doubling down. Hey, I don't think it's Dame time. Whatever the fuck he says, Damian Lillard comes right back. Pretty hot-headed. Calls Skip Bayless a phony motherfucker. Calls him a clown. Fake as fuck. Lose his number. And Skip Bayless like, I never asked for your numbers. Like, you asked for my numbers. Like, I called you once. Like, what the hell? So, Skip sent Damian a text. Let him know exactly what he meant from, his text that he had put out there after that game from last week and all that. And pretty much it ended with Skip offering Damian, hey, look, you can come on the show. We can hash it all out, get it all out in the open. We could talk about, what I said. We could talk about things that wasn't said, but really hash everything out, get everything out there in the open. So whether or not Damian Lillard is going to take Skip up on that remains to be seen. I highly doubt it. I mean, anytime you got somebody saying, you fake, you a phony motherfucker, you clown, all this other shit, yeah, the odds of you doing business with them, you could pretty much forget about it. And Damian was the one, not for nothing, on social media, Damian was the one that was bringing up the private convo. Well, it's not so private now, especially if you're divulging a little bit of what was said in between and everything. So interesting shit that's going on. I mean, for me, look, man, I ain't no athlete. I'm just a passionate sports fan, and depending on the sport, I'm very passionate. And in this case, I definitely know my basketball. I'm like this. Dude, you in a bubble. Just worry about your team. Just worry about taking your team from point A to B. Don't worry about all that other noise. I know it's easier said than done. I can only imagine how it is for these players down there in that bubble right now. I can only imagine how difficult it is. And it's nice to hear that report that's floating around where the NBA is going to be loosening up the restrictions and they're going to welcome players, families, kids. There's no limitations and all that. But basically, this is for during the playoffs. Of course, whoever comes from the extended family, they're going to have to be in quarantine for about 7 days or whatever, in that vicinity pretty much. But it's nice to hear that the NBA is loosening up on that. And, hey, look, these men have needs. So do their significant others, but, these men have needs. That's asking a lot. Hey, come be away from your family for, about 3 months. By the way, be celibate. I mean, let's be for real now. It's like, don't do nothing for 3 months. Yeah, you got 5 Finger Palm Susie. That'll help you out, but 5 Finger Palm Susie can only do but so much on so many nights. You need that woman's touch, right? So, yeah. So I'm glad that they're loosening up on that and everything, as they should. But it's like, fuck all that. Who gives a fuck what, look, I don't always agree with Skip. I don't always agree with what Shannon Sharp be saying, but I tell you what, man, it's like, at the end of the day, that's their opinion. They're entitled to their opinion. It's no different than what I do on this show every single week for you guys. Some of the things I say, you may totally disagree with. That doesn't mean you have to hate me. It doesn't mean you have to hate my guts. It doesn't mean I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about or any of that. It's just, that's what makes the world go round, is that we all have different opinions. I mean, seriously, if we all fucking agreed on the same fucking thing, on every single fucking thing, this world would be fucking boring. It really would. You kind of need that friction sometimes when, well, no, I don't agree with that. And I'll tell you what, point, counterpoint. So it's like, that's his opinion. If he feels that you're not a clutch player, like, so fucking what? If this guy wasn't impressed with the 61-point game shootout you had after you missed those 2 free throws and he still don't think you a clutch player or what, who gives a fuck? The only opinion that matters is your own. What do you see when you look at yourself in the mirror? And I'm like this. Ain't no man or woman gonna have that much real estate in my mind. Because when they do, I can't help but say, well, maybe this person has a point. All the stuff that they saying. Otherwise, why I got them having occupancy in my head like that? It's just food for thought, man. It's like, I just thought that shit was hilarious. I was rolling when I saw that shit, man. I was rolling big time. See, other than that, been relatively quiet. So I'll say on that note, show in the books. Patreon, stay tuned. You'll get Impact Showdown. I'm going to drop that Friday night for you guys. And we're going to see about wrestling with the topics this weekend. Your next free edition of the RCWR show, that's going to be dropping on Monday, August 17th, 2020. We'll be live after Raw goes off the air. So stay tuned for that. Looking forward to that one. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use keywords, the RCWR show. Once again, if you enjoyed this episode, please go out of your way. Leave a thumbs up. Like. If you haven't subscribed, do subscribe. And all that good stuff. Appreciate it tremendously. I do appreciate everybody that had tuned in, checked out the show live. Maybe next go around when we're live on Monday, maybe we can do like some Q&A joint for a couple of minutes. That would be kind of cool if we can get enough Q&As. I think that'd be kind of badass. Maybe I even need to create a thread for that. We'll see. But that is going to do it. All right, so meantime, here's what's going to happen. You guys got the webcast version of this show. enjoy it for now. I will have the audio version of this show be available Friday night. I'm going to do a little bit of multitasking. I'll be editing this while recording Impact Showdown and get both of them out in a timely manner around the same time Friday night for you guys, okay? Until next go round, hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. If you're checking out the NBA action going into the weekend, enjoy. And I will catch you guys next go round. Please be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Take care. Adios, y'all.